He's already pushing his boundaries this morning. He's expanding the safe zone. It's Dan the man crawling inside a big hole in a huge old maple log. What you see in there, bud? What do you see in there, Danny? What's in there? Come on up out of there. You're gonna get stuck. Come on up out of there. Morning, everybody. My name's Bill. This is Pirate Solutions Forestry, and that is Danny, who is on the hunt for rodents this morning on this cold November morning here in New England. Just got done thawing out my water / coolant delivery system on the mill. I guess I didn't add enough RV antifreeze to the tank, so it was frozen up this morning. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be in the mid 40s, and we are just on to cutting on the list here. We got a bunch of different stuff to cut, and I also have to go put up that pole barn at Brian Carroll's this weekend. I guess we're gonna have some help, which is supposed to be fun. Hopefully I'll get some video out there. And I'm not really sure how all this is gonna work out, but he's still got some material here that I think would be advantageous for us to have there. So I think a little later in the day, I'm gonna take my trailer and I'm gonna load up all this sheathing for 3 sides of his pole barn and all the 14-foot purlins and a bunch of small stuff to use as bracing, and load it on my trailer. So when I go over there on Saturday, we will have it all ready to go. And I can leave my trailer there. I think it'll help me take over some of the tools too, and I got to bring my 2 big, I have those big, they're not gorilla ladders, but they're similar to a gorilla ladder. They fold out like this. They're the expensive ones. They go really high, like 22 feet, and when they are in the tripod form, I mean, you can stand right on top of them. They are wicked solid. They're some of the best things I ever bought when I was building. I got to bring those over too, so I think that would fit on the trailer well, rather than trying to get them in the back of the truck with all my tools. I got tons and tons of stuff to bring over there, and I'll leave it all over there for the weekend. And we're going to run that beam saw that we reviewed from Harbor Freight. We're going to be cutting a lot of stuff with that. But this morning, if you're familiar with New England, this is put away and wrap your boat time of the year. Everybody is pulling their boats out of the water, and they are storing them in their yards, and they're shrink wrapping them. And I am getting call after call after call for 8x8 boat cribbing. So last night had a guy call me, needed one of them 16-inch and somewhere around 12 of them. So I told him it would be next week. He said he needed them by tomorrow. I figured, you know what, let's just go through the junk pile. We'll pull out a couple logs this morning. We'll blast out his 8x8s. I texted him back and just said, hey, can you cut them up if I cut you 8-footers, which works out perfect. You get 6 out of each 8-footer. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. I said, I'll cut them for you tomorrow, and he's all excited. So it works out on an 8x8 to be about $42 an 8x8. So it's not a bad little job for, say, 25-30 minutes of cutting, maybe, to knock out 2 8x8s. What are you running around for? You're talking about almost $100. So it's a decent little thing to knock out, and I get to use junk wood. Now, I will say that after I show you the log that I have up on the mill, this log is, it may be a little bit too crooked in the middle to do it, but we're gonna try, because I can always mill a 3rd log. I'm just trying not to cut down a really good one, if you know what I mean. So if we have to mill a 3rd log, we have to mill a 3rd log. And I say this over and over again, it's just boat cribbing, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So I think this log is gonna work. The other one's definitely gonna work, and I got that out of the junk pile too. I don't know how that one ended up in the junk pile, to be honest with you. It's not a bad log. But we're going to get cutting on it, see if we can rip these two apart while trying to keep an eye on Knucklehead this morning. So here's the little shaver up on the sawmill. I think you can see the problem now. The camera probably flattens it out a little bit, but there's a little crook in it right there. So we're going to have to kind of lean towards this side. The end of it is kind of 11 and 12, which will yield an 8x8 at 70%. If it's 12 inches, then that's 84. So 12 times 7 is 84. So it'll yield an 8.4 inch cant. I think if I kind of lean towards just barely shaving this side down, I think we'll be able to come over. We might have to do an extra roll with it and try and get rid of a little bit of wane. But what we're going to try to do, we're going to try and shave this thing down, stay a little bit outside our 8-inch dimension, and then shave worse face as we go through it. And let's see how it goes while trying to keep an eye on that rat. Dog is killing me today. All right, so let's get at it here. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to shave my way into this cant. I don't want to take off anything major yet. Eyeballing it, we pretty much nailed it there. I think that cut was perfect. This stuff will be firewood for right now. We're going to go ahead and spin it over, try to shave this side. We might have to level it a little bit, but shave this side down to just barely cutting out like we did right there. That's what we're looking for. It's going to be close, guys. It really is. Well, it's not as bad as I think, because to this low spot here, I'm kind of, I'm like 13 high right here. This might not be as bad as it looks. Might not be as bad as it looks. I think I'm going to try and cut it at 13. Hey, definitely come to 12. They come to 12. I think we might have pulled this off. This might work, or certainly good enough to be for boat cribbing. That was really worse face, and we're in the ballpark anyway. So let's go back. We'll spin it on its side. We'll clean up this side outside of our 8-inch dimension. Spin it again, do the same thing, then kind of cut worst face, worst face. I think we pulled this off. Well, let's come in and see what the top looks like here. If I could clean up at 10, that would be great. And it probably won't clean up at 10. We're going to come to 9, and we're going to take it right there. I'm not going to go any lower right now. Still running that same Stella Cup band that we've been running. So I think we flip this thing up. We'll shave this side off, and then we're just going to kind of take worst face, I guess. It looks like it's going to work, though. So let's come to 9 again. Oh, it's a swing and a miss here. I'm going to have to cut this at 8. I don't have a choice. Oh, that stinks. That really stinks. Well, let's take it off here. I got some spiny things sticking up. I gotta see if we're going to clear. So the bottom's pretty good. So I think we're going to take this side right to 8. And then we'll pick the worst of the other two sides and take that to 8. And I guess I would have to say that this side over here is worst side. This side's pretty square. So I think we'll flip it backwards, and I think we're at 9 this way. Yeah, so we're going to cut this side to 8, and we'll get this one off the mill. Probably going to cut some extras here. Just, again, it's just boat cribbing. Come right to 8, we'll cut it off and get another one. So there is some wane on it right here and right here. I still think there's like nothing on this side. I still think it's fine for boat cribbing. So we're going to get those slab cuts put away. We're going to get this thing stowed on some bunks. We'll get another log up here, and we'll try it again. I think there's a chance I might cut a third log on this today and have some lying around. I don't want him to come out and say it's no good and then have to cut another one. So I want to have at least enough perfect ones for him. And then I can always, keep the other 8x8. We do have a pole barn order, timber frame pole barn order coming up that we have to cut. And there are 8x8s in that. So we'll be good to have some extra lying around. So I'll give you a quick little look at the one that we just cut. Looks like it's going to be fine for boat cribbing. I probably will cut a third log anyway. There is a little bit of wane on it right there, but I mean, for boat cribbing, it'd be fine. I wouldn't want to use it as a post. in a structure, but it should be fine for boat cribbing. Let's go take a look at Danny and the next candidate. So this is the next little junk log that I pulled out of the junk pile. And obviously it does have its challenges in it. It's bowed like this. It's got some spines sticking off it. I could trim them off with a chainsaw, but for little stuff like this, it's just fast just to cut it. We're going to try and clean the top up. I do have that end jacked up a little bit, try and even it out. We're going to cut the bow out of it, and we're going to kind of go through the same process that we went through on the last one, whilst trying to keep an eye on Danny. So again, we'll kind of eyeball our way through this one. I'm going to try and shave my way into it. Should only take 10-15 minutes or so. And there's another one in the books. We'll go add that one. We'll go add that one to the bunks. And I'm going to go looking for one more log to cut. And Danny, who's off in the neighbors. Well, I think we should just title this video "Cutting Junk Logs to make $100." This one's a beaut. This one's got a big old bow in it. I know the camera's going to flatten it out, but it's pretty huge. It is a little bit long, so I could actually cut it off, but I'm going to throw you guys on time lapse, and I'm going to cut this thing out, and I'll show you what we end up with. Well, that one that you just watched in hyperlapse, as bad as it was, worked out fantastic. Came out wane free except for that right there. Pretty white pine that's been lying around for a while. The good thing is it was up in a pile, so it didn't deteriorate, but it has been here for a long time, and it's nice to get that cut and use really a junk log for this. It's just a little bit of peace of mind for me. Now I know he's got plenty of really, really good cribbing. Let's go take a look at the other two. So obviously we have the second one that we cut right there, which is perfect. And then the first one that we cut is still got a little bit of wane on it and some kind of like outside, I don't know, punky stuff. You can see some of the outside right there that really in a perfect world that wouldn't be on there, even though it is just boat cribbing. But that last one gives me a little peace of mind just to let me know that I've got plenty of wood here for him. Originally, he was going to need 3. And I quoted him $1 a board foot for the cribbing, and then he backed it down to 2. So what I'll do is I am going to get that one over here, and I'll basically just give him his choice of what he wants. Let's do an outro. So that's going to do it for this one. I don't think there was a whole lot of educational value in that one, other than maybe when you're cutting junk logs like that, to make sure you stay away from your dimensions and try to shave into your final. It usually is the way to go, to just get it kind of cubed up, stay outside your dimension, and then just work worst face down to get rid of the wane to end up with the best product that you can. It was all eyeball cutting today. There was no mapping it out in the end. These logs were too crooked for that to work. This one, that last one, I don't know if you might not be able to tell from the hyperlapse, but I actually had to re-level that log on my second side. I had jacked up the end, and it wasn't quite going to work out. It was going to, if I had taken my next flitch cut, it was going to work too far down into that far end. So I actually adjusted the log, so I raised up the end that was towards the saw head. It was a little bigger, and I cut a taper off it to make sure that when I cut out down the far end, I didn't take as much off it, but I cut out that bad spot that was in the middle. And then the rest of the log just kind of fell into place. It worked out perfect. Nice, all heartwood. And for getting rid of some of these little junk logs, you can't imagine how far that goes. I actually had Jacob came out yesterday, kind of with the whole family, and took a bunch of old junk logs to cut up for firewood that I had lying around. And they took a bunch of slab wood out of my slab wood rack, cut it up, loaded up another truck. That stuff goes a long way. I have logs out back in piles that are not millable, not because they're rotten, but because maybe they're too crooked. And even if they're long and they're just too crooked, they'll never be millable. That one that I just cut was really borderline. And it, when I went up front and looked at it, I was like, this is going to be close, but it's worth the shot. Because even if I got like 3 or 4 pieces of cribbing out of it, it would have still put me over the top. So it was worth the try, and it worked out great. It just could not have worked out any better. So I'm going to shoot this guy a message with a picture and just let him know that I got his stuff cut. Hopefully he'll run out here today and pick it all up. I have got to get on to Mike Trotto's stuff. I know I keep saying that every video, and I apologize, guys. There's some people, this is their first time here. Well, we've got a bunch of logs to cut for Mike Trotto, black oak and cedar. We've got to start cutting on that stuff. I am going to have to get cleaned up a little bit out here before I start on that, get all this barn board flitches that we created today put aside, because we're going to use that for the floats for the Christmas parade at the Veterans Center. They're going to need a lot of lumber. They have not given me a cut list yet, but the way that thing goes, and they're doing, I think their plan this year is a little ambitious. It's multiple floats, where last year it was just the one big one that I built with Manny Gonzalez. We built a boat and we had Santa. So Santa, it was a boat sleigh, and styled after a Navy ship. This year they're building. They want to build multiple things, but they got a lot more people involved. So hopefully I don't have to spend a whole lot of time down there last minute, because last year it was like right down to the last minute. I'm out there in the freezing cold trying to get the thing done before the Christmas parade, and that's coming like a heart attack. It's only a couple of 2 or 3 weeks away, and they haven't even started yet. So I got to start pigeonholing wood that I can donate to them. More barn board, the better. 2x4s, things like that. I got to kind of have as much lying around as I can, and my time's limited to when I can cut it right now. Weather-wise, work-wise, my whole weekend's going to be wiped out at Brian's. I think I'm going to have to take a portion of tomorrow to get ready to go put up that pole barn and get everything situated so Saturday morning I can just bolt out of here. Mike Trotto stuff can wait. It doesn't need to be done right away, and we've got to get milling this timber frame pole barn for Ben Silva too. And I think that's going to work in conjunction with getting the Christmas parade stuff, because a lot of Ben's stuff is going to be big logs cutting beams out of, and we're going to get lots and lots of flitches, and there'll be lots of opportunity to take bonus wood out of those logs that we can use for the Christmas parade. So we got to get at it. And Danny is in the house. He is in trouble. You guys didn't get to see it, but he went as far out of the yard as he's ever gone. And he did it in less than a minute. And he actually crossed a road. So I called him from the yard, and a guy 2 doors down said, he's out here on Old Main Road. And I ran down there. He's across Old Main Road. And it's just my worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare. That dog, I love that dog to death. Kate loves that dog to death. If that dog ever got hit, it would be the end of us. Especially if it happened on my watch, it would be the end of us. So he is in trouble. He's in the house. I got to go in and eat some lunch, make myself some soup. And I will get back out here after lunch and get back at it. And maybe we'll shoot some more video. I'm sure I got to do a little bit of charging here. So thanks for coming along for the ride, guys. Always appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the little notifications bell so you know when videos come out from us. If you guys are ever looking for something from Norwood, I put a Norwood affiliate link in the description below. If you copy and paste that link to your browser, takes you right to Norwood's sell site and somehow lets them know that you watched my video. But for Danny, the little rat, and myself, it's Pirate Solutions out.